When it comes to PvP, there are a few things that you can do to improve your skills. No matter what game you're trying to get better at, these tips are going to help you prepare for your next PvP battle. Like always guys, if you enjoyed this video and find it helpful, please make sure to hit the thumbs up and consider subscribing for future content. It's safe to say that we have hundreds of ways to improve our PvP skills. These tips that I'm going to mention are only a few that you're able to implement as soon as this video is over. Alright guys, so tip number 1 is going to be to optimize your PC. Now although this is not an actual skill, it will help your PC's performance in-game, and it'll also maximize your frames per second when you need it most. What I'm going to do is show you a few things that you can do that can help boost your PC's performance. Alright guys, so the very first thing that you're going to do is go down to the Windows icon and left click. Alright, once that pops up, you're going to go ahead and type update. Once you're done typing updates, you're going to see the option that says check for updates. Left click on that. You're going to go ahead and navigate to the top of that window and hit check for updates. Alright, you'll have to give it a few seconds for it to check for any updates. If you do have an update available, go ahead and follow the install wizard so that you can get your PC up to date. Alright guys, so the next thing that you want to do is go back down to the Windows icon and left click. This time you're going to type in settings. Once the settings icon comes up, go ahead and click on it and you're going to navigate over to apps. Once you're inside the apps, you're going to head down to the offline maps. And you want these options to be set to off. So metered connection off, map updates to off. Once those two options are off, you're going to head up to the top and hit delete all maps. Alright, and then left click again. And you're done with the offline map section. Then you're going to head down one tab below where it says apps for websites. And you're going to click on that. And what you want to do is make sure that all these options are set to off. Once all these options are set to off, you're going to be done with this section of the settings. So you're going to go back to the settings tab. This time you're going to go into the game section. Alright, once you're inside the gaming section, you want to make sure that your record game clips option is off. And any other options that you have set up down here also to off. Alright, once you are done with that, you're going to go down to captures and you're going to make sure that your game capture is off as well. Alright, you want to have this at record game audio only, 30 FPS, and video quality to standard. Alright, once you're done with that, you're done with this section of the settings. Okay, so the final thing that you want to do is go back down to the Windows icon and left click. This time you're going to type run. Alright, once run icon comes up, you're going to go ahead and left click on that. And you're going to have this box pop up for you. In this box where you're going to type is %TEMP and then the % once again. And you're going to hit OK. Once you do that, this file is going to pop up for you. And what you want to do is select all of these files inside of this folder. And you're going to delete them all. Alright, so hit delete. Mind you, there will be some folders that won't delete. So all you have to do is hit skip until you clear them out. Alright. The only folders that will stay in here are folders that are actually being used by your PC. Now this will also be the perfect time to update your graphics drivers. So for me it's going to be on the GeForce Experience. We'll go ahead and open that, head over to drivers, and then check for updates. If you have an update available, you go ahead and follow the install and you'll be good to go. For those of you that are using AMD, I have provided a link in the description below with the website for you to go ahead and check for downloads. Alright, if you have a download available, you'll be prompted and you just follow the install wizard. Please keep in mind that there are hundreds of different ways to optimize your PC even further with several different softwares and different setting adjustments that can be performed. So with that being said, I do encourage you to keep looking further in other ways to optimize your PC. Okay, so tip number 2 is going to be to adjust your mouse settings. Alright, so as you can see on my screen, you see that I have my settings at 1510 DPI and I have my polling rate at 1000. Now you see the 1510, that's because I got extremely picky with what I was doing and how I set up my sensitivity. And that's what I want you to do when you're setting yours up. You want to fine tune exactly where you want your sensitivity to be so that you can perform at the level that you need to perform. You also want to avoid copying someone else's settings just because it's working for them. What works for someone else necessarily does not mean it's going to work for you. One more thing you want to keep in mind is not to change your sensitivity often. You want to play enough with the sensitivity that you choose to where you can develop muscle memory. If you continue to change it at a constant rate, it will affect you in the long run when you're trying to fine-tune your aim. Make sure that once you're done setting up your sensitivity through your mouse software, that you also set up your sensitivity in game. And this is going to vary from what your mouse is actually set up to do. So you definitely want to go into the game and adjust your settings as well. This will give you optimal performance since it will be specific to the game that you are playing. Alright, so now that we've pretty much touched on the different settings and different things you can do to optimize your PC, we're going to go ahead and actually talk about the gameplay and what you can do to improve on your actual skills. So this leads me into tip number 3. Tip number 3 is to play as many PPP games as you possibly can. There are many games in the Steam store that you can get for free, or if you already have shooter games, make sure that you're playing them as often as possible. What this is going to do is going to develop and groom your actual PvP skills. The different approaches and the different ways that you take on gun battles will help you develop the confidence you need when you go into your next PvP match. One game that helped me polish my skills is a game called America's Army. Now this is a free download on Steam that you can pick up and you guys can jump straight into the action. I provided a link down in the description below where you guys can follow it and download it for free. Apart from the PvP action, this game will also help develop your team communication skills as it is a team-based game. Okay, so tip number 4 is going to be to use a free game called Aimtastic. This game can be found in the Steam store completely free, and it allows you to mirror your sensitivity from all the games that you play. Once you open up the game, it will bring you to the sensitivity settings, and you can also choose to go ahead and play. Once you hit play, you'll be able to find different levels that you can practice your aim and different things that you can do to improve your skills. Now with the latest update in this actual game, you will be able to track your progress from where you first started to where you currently are. Now my final tip, tip number 5, is going to be to add hardware to your actual setup. What I mean by this is if you're playing on a TV, you're going to be on a big disadvantage when you're coming up against someone that has a 244 Hz monitor. You'll mostly notice the disadvantage when you're actually in a close battle and you end up losing the fight. So if you are considering adding anything to your setup, I will consider adding a monitor so that you can give the best performance out in the actual game. One final piece of equipment that you can also add to your setup is a quality mouse pad. Now you don't want to just be using a desk because the different textures on the desk could affect your mouse sensitivity. So if you have a good mouse pad under your mouse, it could help give you that steady aim that you are looking for. Alright guys, so like I said in the beginning of the video, these are not the only things you can do to improve your performance out in the game. You can look up different tutorials and different ways to gain an advantage on your opponent. Don't forget to check the description box below where I provided links to the AMD website where you can check for the new graphics card updates. Also, I provided a link to the Steam store where you can download America's Army Proving Grounds, which is the game that I spoke about in the video. This game jumps straight into the action and you can get a lot of PvP experience. I also provided the link to the Aimtastic game that you can download for free from the Steam store. If you guys have any further suggestions or tips for others to know, make sure to drop it in the comment section below. Without further ado guys, I do appreciate you watching to the end of the video. If you haven't already, also make sure to hit the thumbs up button so it can help our community continue to grow. Also consider subscribing as I do upload often. Like always, I appreciate you guys watching and I'll see you on the next video.